Hi, I'm Jessie Ziegler and welcome to Threaded Quilting Studio. You are in my basement studio. I am the pattern author of Fierce Feathered Star, among others. A little bit obsessed with feathered stars. I'm going through a phase here. This is a really awesome pattern, can I say that? Because it doesn't have paper piecing and there's no Y seams. So that makes people think like, okay, great, how does it go together then? And there's a little bit of intimidation around this, which there absolutely should not be. So that is why I'm recording a video series. We're going to go through each part, but I do want to be upfront. You do need to buy the pattern to be able to make your own. There's two blocks involved, a 36-inch block and a 20-inch block. I'm going to go through the 36-inch with you today, but the pattern includes templates and all of the kind of tricky measurements, meaning like some of them use 1/16 of an inch, 5/8, 3/8, like some that are just require more precision than other patterns. But that's the purpose of this video, is to go through step by step, section by section, show you how I make it, and then encourage you to make your own if you'd like. I'm going to refer to the map a lot, and this is page 5 of the pattern. It has a number for all the components, and then down below here it has the name and then the dimensions for cutting that unit. It makes for a highly customizable star. If you have any comments or questions, just leave them in the comment section and I will actually get back to you. Yes. So that's it. Get your materials, buy your pattern, print your pattern, come join. This is how you do the Fierce Feathered Star. Okay, this shows the two templates that are necessary for cutting out your star. The first, and this is, again, these two are for the 36-inch. So here is a shot from the back side. You'll print your template out with your pattern at 100%. Make sure your scaling option is not checked on your printer. Some of them will shrink to fit. That will not be helpful to you because you want it to print at 100%. There is a 1-inch test box on the template that you'll want to check to make sure that you're printing to size, otherwise it will not work. So what you do is you print the template out, cut on the black lines around the template, and then you position the 90-degree angle, the 1-inch square, you position that right in the corner of a rotary ruler. Now this ruler is 9.5 inches by 9.5 inches, and I'll show you how it works. So I have already cut out all my fabrics according to the map that I showed you earlier. Cutting 2 at a time, you could probably do more if you feel comfortable with that. But I'm aligning the template right at the edge of the rectangle, so I'm making sure that it aligns, and then I'm cutting around the straight edges of the ruler to get my star points. This template is for our number 10 pentagon pieces. And again, in the cutting instructions on that map sheet that I showed you, it will give you dimensions for cutting, for pre-cutting these rectangles. And we only need 4 of these. I'm going to cut 2 at a time. And for this template, since it's too big, it actually comes in 2 pieces. So on 2 different pages, you'll cut it out, and then you'll follow in the instructions right here. You can see from the back, but there's a little lip that you will align the dashed line from the 2 separate pieces, tape them together, and then you'll tape it to the back of the rotary ruler. And this rotary ruler is 12.5 by 12.5 inches. So I'm positioning the rectangle to its side, and just like we did the other piece, I'm going to align the edges of my pre-trimmed rectangle with the template taped to my rotary ruler. And when that's in position, and then you have these pentagon shapes left over, and that will set aside for a later step. Okay. Next we're going to be sewing the star tips. So 2A, 2B, and 2C on the map. So first, before I can sew, I'm going to get a rotary ruler And on the back of all of these squares, I'm going to mark a diagonal line from corner to corner. Okay, once I've got the line drawn on all of the squares, I'm going to arrange my fabric pieces into two main sections. So I'm going to use the pattern to make sure that we have half of the tips, the star tips go one way and half right leaning and left leaning. So I want to make sure that these lines go in the opposite direction of these lines. So that I'm positioning my background fabric up here, and then so these squares are going to be the background spines, and these lines are going to be going in the same direction in this pile, and then the same direction in this pile. So I should have 4 squares of the background, 4 star tips, and then 4 spine backgrounds. Okay, to make this easy, I use a Fons & Porter glue pen, and I don't quite extend my glue all the way to the corner, but I'm applying it across the top and down the right, and I'm aligning the edges of the square, and I'm just kind of pressing it in place. This doesn't require heat setting. And so in the lower edges, I'm applying it to the left side and across the bottom, but I don't go all the way to the corner. And then I'm positioning that square in place, and this is just kind of a nice way to hold that without any pins, and it makes the sewing go quickly. Okay, now I'm going to take these to the sewing machine and sew them, and when I do, I'm going to sew directly on the line that we drew. Another tip at this point is I like to start at the center of the star tip fabric, or at this line, and follow it out to the corner. And then so over here I would be starting here into the corner. Sometimes when you start a line right at the corner, it will get sucked down into your feed dogs, and it will cause your fabric to bunch up, and you'll have to start again, and that is no fun. So okay, so I've chain pieced these together, and I've sewn directly on the line. So for the trimming, position the 1/4 inch on your rotary ruler on that seam line, and then trim away the corner. So that's important. You do not want to trim toward the center. And this is just waste, so you can get rid of it. So again, trimming the corner off, positioning the 1/4 inch line on the rotary ruler with the seam that you have sewn. I like to press these open, but you can certainly press to the side if that's your preference. There's just a lot of seams coming together in this block, so I press open to eliminate that bulk. So you'll just continue trimming away and also gluing or pin basting these squares to the star tips, and follow the same directions, but you're going to be producing the right leaning star tips in this step. I've got all my star tips sewn and pressed, and I'm going to set them aside for another step.